Book of Acts chapter 14. In Iconium, Paul and Barnabas entered the synagogue of the Jews and preached in such a way that a significant number of both Jews and Greeks came to believe. However, some of the unbelieving Jews incited the Gentiles and turned their minds against the brethren. Despite this opposition, Paul and Barnabas remained in the city for a long time, boldly speaking in the name of the Lord, and God confirmed their message by granting signs and wonders through their hands. The city's population became divided, with some siding with the Jews and others with the apostles. When both Gentiles and Jews, along with their rulers, planned to mistreat and stone them, Paul and Barnabas became aware of the plot and fled to Lystra and Derbe, cities in Lycaonia, and the surrounding region, where they continued to preach the gospel. In Lystra, there was a man who had been crippled from birth and had never walked. He listened to Paul speak, and as Paul observed that he had faith to be healed, he loudly commanded the man to stand upright on his feet. Miraculously, the man leaped up and began to walk. Witnessing this incredible feat, the local people exclaimed in the Lycaonian language that gods had come down to them in human form. They called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius because he was the main speaker. The priest of Jupiter, located near the city's gates, brought oxen and garlands for a sacrifice, along with the eager crowd. When Paul and Barnabas heard of this, they tore their clothes and rushed into the crowd, exclaiming, "Why are you doing these things? We are mere mortals like you, proclaiming the message that you should turn away from these vain idols and embrace the living God, who created heaven, earth, the sea, and everything in them. In the past, he allowed all nations to walk in their own ways, yet he did not leave himself without witness, providing rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, satisfying your hearts with food and joy." With these words, they barely restrained the people from offering sacrifices to them. Nevertheless, some Jews from Antioch and Iconium arrived and persuaded the crowd. They stoned Paul, dragging him out of the city, thinking he was dead. But when the disciples gathered around him, he rose up and returned to the city. The following day, he departed with Barnabas to Derbe, where they preached the gospel and taught many. They later returned to Lystra, Iconium, and Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and encouraging them to persevere in the faith, as they would face many tribulations on their path to the kingdom of God. Paul and Barnabas appointed elders in every church, prayed with fasting, and commended the new leaders to the Lord. Afterward, they continued their journey, passing through Pisidia and arriving in Pamphylia. They preached the word in Perga, then went down to Attalia and sailed back to Antioch, where they had originally been sent out. There, they gathered the church and shared the remarkable work that God had accomplished through them, opening the door of faith to the Gentiles. They remained in Antioch for a significant period, along with the disciples.